Thank you. Thanks so much for the opportunity to be here, to talk to lots of important and influential people, and to talk about a topic which is actually really fun and lovable, the circular economy. So why is this such a brilliant policy idea? I think it is like from a likability perspective, from a popularity potential perspective, this is the best policy idea that has been introduced in my lifetime in terms of environmental policy. Because nobody really likes waste, nobody likes the throwaway society, nobody wants to see rotting vegetables or waste tips, landfills. So I think irrespective of where you're from, what your background is, what party you vote for, people really do not like throwing stuff away. They don't like product obsolescence. They don't like landfills. So it is really approachable, and I think this is a brilliant idea. Yet I think a critical issue here is whether citizens trust that we're actually making this 180-degree turn, given that what we've seen until now is a linear economy. We've seen companies saying that, virgin materials are cheaper than recyclables and that it is complicated, and we've also seen a decline in repair services, in all kinds of businesses which used to be there and which used to be part of our previous circular economy. So I think it is important this is an important question to address as we are building the circular economy. We do need the citizens, we do need the employees, we do need the consumers for a circular economy. And indeed trust is central for any economic system. So without trust there is no exchange, there is no money, there is no economic system. So trust is central. Economic sociologists have broken down trust into two things. One is trust in the intention, so it needs to be clear for all of us that the intentions to actually perform circularity are there. And secondly, trust in capability, which I think is perhaps even more critical, even more important, and even more a cause for concern, given that we're now living in this crisis situation that has been mentioned. We are having a war, inflation, energy crisis, public protest, then our gas pipe explodes. So it's not perhaps the best situation for creating mutual trust. And there's the economic sociologists have identified three sources of trust. Where can trust come from? One is the history of interaction between parties where you learn to trust. One is contract, so we have something written down that can be trusted. And the third is similarity, so people tend to trust people who are similar to themselves. And so I'll use these to look at some of the things that we really need to do. And one is like creating history. I don't mean that we are to fabricate history, but history is also what we cast a light on, what we show. And I think we should really be giving a lot more visibility to the, shall we say, perhaps still rather few, but all the more precious examples of circular economy that exists. So we have had, for example, repair voucher scheme in Vienna and Graz, and I think we should be making a big noise about this, that the city is able to promote repair and to promote the repair businesses. How has France's new tech repair index done? How is it working? How is it serving citizens? And we do have in this world, perhaps more outside Europe than elsewhere, we do have people and countries and people in those countries who do have skills to recycle, to, for example, to refurbish batteries. I'm sure many of you have seen these YouTube videos of how quickly actually old battery can be refurbished. So we need to showcase all of these to show that there are examples that this is being done, it can be done. Secondly, I think we really need to communicate as we do. We really have a great circular economy action plan, and I think the Commission has been making some nice infographics, etc., but we perhaps need to be a bit louder about this. So to explain how right to repair products is being introduced into the Eco-Design Directive, what directives there are that are going to combat the obsolescence of our mobile phones, for example, how the renovation wave is not only about energy but also about renovating the buildings which we hold so dear and which we would like to preserve, and how we'll be able to recycle our textiles. So indeed, how current legislation is helping us to keep our products in use for longer, I think this is, I think people would be really happy actually to hear about this, and we could be a bit louder than we are today. So that's about the contract, how there will be a legal framework, and if we think about, like, for example, the right to repair, I think it's very important for businesses, small businesses throughout Europe, to understand that it will be easier for us to conduct a repair business than it has been until now. So communicating also the contract, and finally finding the different people and the different places and the different media that reach out to everybody, because I don't think the circular economy can just be for sort of young educated urbanites. It really needs to be for everybody. So it needs to be seen in the shopping malls and in the markets. The circular economy needs to be there. It needs to be on your television, not only in a special program about environment, but actually in the lifestyle programs. And we do have some really nice programs about repair. And it needs to be communicated through many different kinds of people, not just the young fashionable people, and in different media. I put here what used to be called, and we probably don't say women's magazine anymore, but they used to be called women's magazines. And I have a colleague, Madeleine Frisk, who is a historian, and she studied the old women's magazines. And actually they had, up until the mid-60s, they always had stories which were about, here, this is the latest fashion. Here's how you modify your products to be according to this fashion, or here's how you advise your seamstress to modify your products to be according to the latest fashion. So this is what I think we should be really trying to do in order to work on the circular economy. So I'd like to sum up by saying that it is a big challenge. It is about like an about turn in the economy. And I think we need to acknowledge this and be clear about this, that even though it occurs via small steps, it is still really a big, important challenge that we're addressing, and a big change in our economic system, and that we'll need to have a big collaborative effort, and we'll also need to keep people posted on what is happening, so that we're able to make these investments. As in my example, we need to know that products will be repairable if we are to invest in some sort of small local repair business. So thanks for the opportunity to talk to you. I look forward to hearing more from everyone.